Hi everybody, this is Eugene O'Loughlin, Lecturer in Computing at the National College of Ireland, and welcome to my series of short how-to videos. In this video, we're going to learn how to plot a simple scattergram in Excel 2010. Suppose that we want to graph the heights and weights of a group of people. Here on my left-hand side of my spreadsheet, I've got the heights in centimetres and weights in kilograms of students in one of my classes. The names have been anonymised. And since both height and weight are variables, we use the phrase bivariate data, meaning that there are two variables. In this case, height is one variable and weight is the other. And bivariate data are best displayed on a scattergram, sometimes called a scatter plot, like the one you see here. So in the middle of my screen here, I've got a scattergram comparing the weight and height of the students in my class, and I can see and examine the relationship between weight and height. So let's see how we go about drawing this diagram. So I'm going to delete this and start from scratch. Now there are several ways of doing this, but I'm going to do a quick way. The first thing to do is to select the data that you want to chart. So I'm going to select all the data, including the headings, in columns B and C. I don't need the names of the students in this scattergram. Then I'm going to choose the insert ribbon across the top, and Excel has a scatter option here, so when I select that, it offers me some options for different types of scattergrams. I'm going to select the first one, scatter with only markers. At this stage we do not want to join the points on our scattergram, so select that. Now that gives us a chart here which is similar but not exactly the same as the one we have just seen, so we need to make some modifications to this. So the first thing I've done is made it a little bit bigger. The next thing is you'll notice that the X and Y axis are not labeled, so we need to change the chart layout for that. So under the chart tool ribbons across the top over here, and in the chart layouts on the left hand side of that ribbon, there's a layout option number 1. I'm going to choose that one there. And that allows me then to change the axis titles on both the X and the Y axis. So let me change that, and on the Y axis here we've got the weight, and on the x-axis we have height. Now they're a little bit small, so I'm just going to make those a little bit bigger I'm going to double the size up to 20 and change height size to 20 as well, make it a little bit easier to see. And I'm going to get rid of the weight label on the right hand side here, and I'm going to change the chart heading to weight versus height. Now all our data are clumped over in one corner over here, and that's not terribly useful to us, though we can see that there is a trend between weight and height as we might expect. Now the reason why it's all up here is that on the weight side here the marks are being plotted from 0 up to 90, so let's change that. So if I left click on the numbers of the y-axis and then right click, I get an option to format the axis, and there's only one thing I need to change in here. The minimum value is automatically at 0, so if I check on the fixed box there, and we can see in our chart that there are no values under 50, so I'm going to put 50 as the minimum value and select close. We can see that our y-axis is now spread out. Let's do the same for the x-axis down here, so click on that with the left mouse button, then right click, choose format axis, and this time we can see that there are 140 would be a useful minimum value, so change minimum auto to click on the fixed option and type in 140 to represent 140 centimeters and close. And we can now see that we have a chart similar to the one we started the video out with. And we can see, not unexpectedly, that there is a relationship between height and weight. As the weight increases, height also increases, as you can see here. And when we see a chart like this here, okay, if the points form a pattern that tend to rise as we do, we say that there's a positive correlation. If the points form a pattern that tend to fall, we say that there is a negative correlation. So in our case here, we have a positive correlation between weight and height. The final thing is, if you want to add a trend line into this, it's fairly straightforward to do. Select with your left mouse button the data in the chart, right click, and you can see that there's an add trend line option, so select that, and we'll just accept a linear trend line here and close, and we can see that we've got a line on our chart which is a trend line showing in a little bit more detail the relationship between weight and height. So that's how you create a simple scattergram in Excel 2010. I hope you found this video useful. Thank you for your attention.